Hello there. So I was just, trying to, I don't know, maybe make like a video about how I do my runs. This is how I do my runs basically, and why I decided to. Sorry, I'm a bit cold here. I have a bit of cold. Um, so why I decided basically to do these 500% runs or no armor runs or whatever, and how I decided to do that, because that's very interesting actually. I was doing a run with my Odachi character, which you might or might not have seen, whereby I basically just, I just powered through the levels, because again you can't really make a build, right, in like new game or whatever. You always just pick up the armor which is most suitable for you, or like has the best stats and everything else. And thank you, bruv. And so I was just like, well, I'm just not really going to do that, because why would I, it was just, I don't know. Oh, it's not gonna work out for me. Bruh. Okay then. Because I was just thinking about, doing some builds or trying out something, but again, it just didn't work. I was kind of curious whether or not I can do a kind of no armor build, and so this is why I kept basically my armor, my mariner's armor, mariner's armor, I don't know, I'm not a native English speaker, and so this is why I was trying to kind of, test myself basically, as to how far I can go, and it turned out to be really good, and it carried me into New Game Plus, and I kind of learned how to fight with the Adachi, how to fight with certain enemies or against certain enemies and bosses, and it just kind of, I really don't know, I just love the thrill of it. I'm by no means a professional Nioh player, can't even play normally if you ask me. I have never even ventured beyond New Game Plus Plus, so that's way of the whatever it's called, I don't even care. So where basically ethereal gear and anything else becomes available, and even when I did, it was just kind of shit. I didn't know what to do, and so I just kind of left it out, but I'm not really interested in grinding in any kind of game basically anyways, so really that's the only thing which I actually really do hate, when you have to kind of grind or like try to min max it. Bruh, what are you doing here? Min max your build. That's bruh, that's not for me. So I was kind of thinking about how I could improve on that. And since I've beaten the game in the Mariner's armor, I was like, yeah, why not try it, without any armor? Because at that point, and basically at any point, the only difference is between no armor and that kind of quote-unquote armor is that you can take literally one hit. Like, that's it. And this is where I got the idea from. And so I was like, yeah, alright, sounds reasonable. Why not try it out? And it just worked, and so I began working towards beating most bosses, if not all, but let's say most, um, without armor, and it kind of worked out for me. They took me like an immense amount of tries. Like if you actually read my descriptions, this is exactly why I also include the number of tries each and every boss took for me, because you can see that, yeah, I'm not someone who's just, I don't know, who's just doing it for fun and doing it by heart, or is his very nature or something. But that I actually do have my own kind of difficulties with those bosses. And okay, let's do. And yeah, through those tries, I basically had to and got to learn how these bosses work and how the different moves are with the bosses, how I can best avoid those, you know, which moves I can punish, and over time I just kind of got used to it. And this is why I haven't really done all the bosses, you know, Giant Centipede or Umibozu for instance I have deliberately left out because I just hate those bosses, like I really do, and I can't really fight against them. But for the most part, bruh, for the most part, most bosses aren't really that hard if you think about them. Like, mostly if you are not wearing heavy armor, you can't really get hit either way. Like, you can let yourself get hit like once or twice, maybe survive that. Uh, but really, that's about it. And I've played with a heavy armor character, so I kind of know that that was basically the only kind of character where I could, you know, let myself be basically get hit and where I could actually trade hits with enemies. It was a very weird feeling, nonetheless. But no, yeah. But apart from that, and even if you are kind of playing with a heavy armor character, like there comes a point, especially with those, I don't know, New Game Plus Plus and whatever else, missions and bosses and enemies, and I know I'm gonna die. No, what the hell? What happened? Where you basically just cannot let yourself get hit, like no matter what. So why wear armor? I know that they provide some really hefty bonuses, but again, this is basically on ethereal gear or when you're kind of trying to temper and refine your divine gear. And again, I'm not really the kind of player who would be doing that. And so I tried and tried and tried, and I just got into the habit of basically doing these bosses non-stop as kind of a hobby, because as weird as it might sound, for me it is also a hobby. It is a relaxation sort of, even, I would say. Nope, 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 you're not gonna stomp on me. And so yeah, it's kind of a relaxing event, and after a hard day at work, and I was just enjoying myself basically here. And I was thinking, you know, why not make videos of it, and this is why I also include strategies of these fights, whereby you can just see which moves of any given boss you can and cannot avoid, what are the hardships, what are the basic huddles of any sort of bosses or moves, or it's gonna do it, no, it's not gonna do it, it's okay. What the hardships are basically, and what the moves which can be punished are, what kind of RNG there is to a boss, because there are a ton of bosses where unfortunately there is some kind of RNG involved. Like with Yukiona for instance, that yeah, she sometimes does not really behave the way she should be. Sometimes she just pulls out some kind of bullshit attack which you really, you know, couldn't really be able to predict or avoid even. Because all that takes, and I'm not saying this lightly, all that takes is practice. Again, if you have seen my videos and you've read my descriptions, you should be able to see that I've been, you know, trying and trying and trying over and over and over again. and just memorizing countless of attacks, countless of patterns. Let's just do this mission, why not? Countless of attacks, countless of patterns, countless of basically anything really, like, again, patterns. What a given boss can follow up with, which attack is a follow-up attack, which attack is something which only is present in the second phase, even like, sorry, even like here in New Game Plus, which attack is something which is present in basically all phases, which is distance reliant, which is basically which is which. And that's all it takes really. And I'm not, again, I'm not saying this lightly. I'm not saying that, you know, it doesn't take skill or it doesn't take reflexes or any sort of that kind of stuff, because I'm not saying that it's not a great feat, but I'm also not saying that like I was, I don't know, a conceited brat, because I know that it's hard. But again, all it really took for me was just practice. Because a lot of guys, you know, have asked how I can do that, you know, how I managed to beat the bosses, how I managed to keep calm. I'm not calm, bro. You can believe me. You can believe me that I'm not calm when fighting these bosses. I'm really on the edge of my seat. Because again, I want to prove that they are possible to beat at any speed, at any, you know, equipment level, and so on and so forth. And so I know that this is, again, not something which anybody would try, or like not something which your average player would try. And again, yes, it is mostly for my own enjoyment and amusement, but you know, what I wanted to do with the regular bosses, like regular no armor bosses, is to show you that they really can be beaten. Like, you don't need any kind of excessive bonuses from your armor, you don't need any sort of insane accessories, or any of that kind of stuff. Like, even a new game, like first playthrough, there are bosses, or there are strategies for them, so it's not like, you know, you only see that a lot of guys have like these insane maxed out equipment and they just destroy bosses, which is fine, and I actually do love watching them and seeing them, you know, kind of obliterate the bosses, but I've never really seen anyone do that. I mean, do what I've done, basically. And I was like, yeah, you know, be a world first, kind of, and also see what I can do. And what you also might have noticed, that I also only try bosses where I kind of have the know-how and who I've fought like a ton of times, and I know what to expect and which attack to counter, which, you know, which to avoid, which can be punished. But yeah, it is kind of fun actually. As you can see, I don't have anything here either. I don't even equip a secondary weapon, is why, a ranged weapon. And yeah, because I wanted to show you that even without debuffs, like insanely debuffing the boss, it can be done. Like, it's hard, sure, but it still can be done. And I actually do enjoy these fights quite much. Again, I'm not as calm as you know, the videos might make me look to be, because sometimes when it's literally a fraction of a second, which makes the difference between winning a fight and having to restart for the 500th time, it's not fun. It's really not fun. Sometimes you just want to get it over with some fights. But yeah, that's it. It's only practice. So what I do when I'm trying to do these 500% speed run, or not speed runs, but like 500% speed boss runs, is basically what I have been doing all along, learning the boss's attack patterns. Uh, basically remembering which attack to avoid, which is something which can be punished, just like I've told you before, and just applying that with 5 times the speed. So you've been noticing that I've been playing with like a regular speed for now, because again I usually play through the level normally at like 100% speed, and then just speed it up with cheat engine, just to make sure that you know it really is sped up, but that I can get through the level, because sometimes normal enemies and the level itself is kind of harder, even harder than the boss, or like would be harder if I did it on 500% speed. So, and the reason I don't really go beyond that speed is because, which I've noticed, that the game doesn't really let itself, sorry I have to check something, doesn't really let itself be sped up more than 500%. I don't know why. I don't know it's whether or not it's like a limitation of the game itself, or whether or not it's something to have, it has something to do with cheat engine. Either way, yeah, it's shit. It is what it is. So and again, after learning these bosses, it's just applying the strategy with the skill and with the memory, muscle memory, to that speed. And for the most part, it's not that difficult, I would say. But for instance, with Otani Yoshitsugu, so the first boss in Sekigahara, I'm really struggling. I've had like 332 tries, and only about 20 of them were tries where I had the luck, and not the skill, the luck to bring him down to 50% health. Yeah, there are some bosses like that, and this is why, because I was asked by my good friend to do that boss, and bruh, what happened? And I just couldn't, exactly because of that, because I just don't know how. There are bosses where I just don't feel the rhythm, I just don't know how and what they're gonna do. But for the most part, again, it's, if you have learned to do a boss with like no hit, like it doesn't matter if you're going without armor. Yeah, it kind of makes a small difference, because there are bonuses and buffs and whatever which you would get if you had armor on. But even if you do or don't, it doesn't really matter. What matters is if you have learned to defeat a boss without getting hit. When you go to 500%, 5 times speed, is the same. Sure, it might, take you a couple hundred more tries, but at that point, it basically is just adapting to the speed. Or at least that's how, or at least that's how it feels for me, at least. I don't really feel, with the exception of some bosses, they would be so, so much different or so much harder than just doing them normally. And that was it. It's just practice, and after that, again, it's just applying those skills which you have learned from a no-hit run. I'm just gonna quit here because I don't really want to play this level. It's just here for background. And again, this is basically it. If you can do a no-hit run with any boss, you can do it with any boss sped up. It's just learning the rhythm and learning to adapt to it. Again, I'm not playing it down, I'm not saying it doesn't take skill or practice, and I'm not saying that I'm either good or bad, or you are good or bad for doing or not doing these kind of runs, but what I'm saying is, what I've experienced so far is that, yeah, it's just boss dependent, but if you can beat it no hit like a normal speed, you can just beat it on 5 times speed or 2 times speed or whatever. And again, which is, if you ask anybody who does no-hit runs in Souls-like games, what they are going to say are two things: memory and muscle memory. You have to memorize the attack patterns of the given boss, and you have to kind of commit them to muscle memory so that you can execute the dodges, the attacks at the exact times where they needed to be executed. And that's it. So what I do again, I mostly only try bosses at 5 times speed whom I've beaten before or whom I'm confident with, and after that it takes a couple more tries. Again, it can take anything or like anywhere between like 10 tries up to like 100 or more with 5 times speed. But since I know their movesets, it's basically only adapting my reflexes and reaction speed to the 5 times game speed, but I don't have to relearn or learn anything new about the boss. And yeah, that's basically it. I don't know why I've made this video. I basically just thought about, talking for some minutes about how I got into this and why I'm doing this. I really do have fun actually with the bosses. I hate the levels, but I love the bosses, so that's that's another thing. I'm just quite content with what I've got, and it's kind of like a pastime activity for me. And if you would like to try it, just if you're on PC, just go download Cheat Engine, speed up the game, and see how you do. Again, I do think that if you're in like the no hit run category, it's worth a try. It can be really fun. It can be really frustrating. Just try it out. But I do think if you have the patience, then it's just gonna be fine, and you're gonna enjoy it if you're kind of a masochistic person as I am. So yeah, that was it basically. But no matter how you play the game, no matter what you do, no matter if you're just farming the gear for just to min-max your character, or playing casually and just want to play through the game like once and just never touch it again, or want to do something like this, like no hit runs or challenge runs with like magic only, ninjutsu only, whatever else. The main point is just have fun, man. Just have fun and relax, and sometimes just step away from the game. Like I have had longer breaks because between bosses and playthroughs, because sometimes, as much as I love this game, no matter how I play, like if I play casually or if I play like these kind of sped up challenges or trying to no hit a boss like basically even on normal speed, sometimes you just have to step away from it and just not bother with it. Again, it is a game. It is meant to be played and enjoyed. Like the enjoyment is in basically the very definition of the words game and play. So just don't stress about it. And if you want to do something like that, it is just practice. You have to pay attention to the boss. You have to kind of commit everything to muscle memory, yes. But even for like a normal speed, like a 100% speed, no hit run, I chose again no armor because I didn't want to be kind of burdened down. I wanted my key recovery speed to be as fast as possible and my key loss with attacks and with dodges to be as minimal as possible. But if you're running anything basically, heavy armor, character, light armor, doesn't matter, and if you want to try it out. Get accustomed to how you lose key with attacks, with dodges, and I wouldn't really say that any boss, except for some gimmick bosses, is that difficult if you put in the time and energy and effort. Again, I didn't really want to do these. It was just as I explained, kind of a coincidence for me, basically, that I've tried it. I've had no intentions of doing these kind of runs, and yet again, here I am. I'm enjoying myself, and I'm enjoying the runs, and I'm enjoying what I'm doing. And so, if you have kind of even just an inclination of doing these, just try it out. You don't have to record it. You don't have to put it on YouTube. If you just stream it for your friends on Discord or do it for yourself at home, nobody cares. But try it if you want to. It's really fun, and it kind of really makes you rethink how you fight bosses, especially when you are not going to block, which I don't do. because I consider, you know, a blocked hit still a hit because it connected to my character even if it didn't damage me. And so if you try that out, it's gonna be, you know, immense fun if you're so inclined. And even if you're blocking or dodging or, you know, taking hits and just trying, you know, to do whatever basically. Again, games are there to be played and to be had fun with, and I just encourage anybody to test themselves out, to give this game a chance, because a lot of people have said that they don't really like this game because it's too hard or too fast or whatever. Uh, I was one of them as well. There has been a year where I basically tried the game out for the first time. I didn't like it, and I've just had like an eight months long pause, and I kind of came back to it and said, okay, you know what? Let's just scrap that character. Let's just see what this game is about. New character, because I don't even know what I'm doing with the old one. And surprise, surprise, I got into it, and here I am. And so yeah, just have fun with the game, and if you're trying to do these kind of sped up challenges or no hit challenges or no armor challenges, no damage, whatever, it's basically just like any other Souls-like. You have to learn the boss's patterns, the movements, and that's it. And that's what I do. I just sit down, kind of get into the flow, the focus, you know, and I just concentrate. And even if I get hit when I'm trying to, you know, record a video, I'm still keeping on, you know, still keep the recording on and try to learn what the boss is really doing, instead of just, you know, stopping at the very moment I get hit and just not doing anything. And I'm trying to see what I can learn from it, and if I can, I rewatch the videos, and if I cannot, I try to at least remember what I did wrong. And this is especially true when doing, you know, a normal speed no hit run, because at that speed you can actually comprehend what the fuck is going on your screen. And that's it. I just try to remember, try to learn from my mistakes. Sometimes I get upset, yes, but I never rage. I never kind of rage quit the game. There has been instances when I just quit because I said I can't anymore, I don't want to, but it wasn't like rage quit. It was just like when I felt that, you know, I just can't concentrate and it wouldn't really be feasible or possible for me to do that specific boss, or didn't even want to play anymore for the day. But yeah, just go for it, man. And thank you for listening. I don't know why I've made this video, but again, I've been getting questions about how and why I actually even started these kind of insane challenges, and I hope it helped, and sorry for my rambling. So thank you very much, and see you on the other side. Bye bye.